Jerry Jones yesterday with high praise for his quarterback, Dak Prescott, after a 42-10 loss in San Francisco. Listen.
Dak Prescott is a quarterback that can get us to the Super Bowl, and that's the way that's going to be. Let me be very affirmative. I completely believe that we have the quarterback that can take us where we want to go.
Super Bowl.
What do you think? I mean, he's saying that. Do we believe he means that? He's supposed to say that no matter what, right?
It doesn't benefit him to say anything otherwise right now. I do believe it's true. I think we're all a bit emotional, and especially me. Like, I've been defending and supporting Dak for a while, so I was pretty disappointed watching the way that he played in that game. But once you take a couple days to step back and look at the landscape of the league and understand how difficult it is to win in this league, I think that he's the best opportunity that they have to get to the Super Bowl in the near future. So I'm with Jerry on that one.
You're out of the family, bro. You're already out. Don't try to get back in now. No, you're gone. You're out. You're out.
Yeah, they blocked him from that.
He's 100% right. And you know, everybody wants to fire everybody after a bad loss. The reality is, who are you going to hire? Dak Prescott is a good quarterback that you win because of, not in spite of. There's not many of those in the NFL. I'm here to tell you. So to act like that this guy just needs to be on some other team or he can't get it done, there's a lot of other guys on this football team that have to step up, including Dak, but don't just single in on Dak and how he has played. Everybody around has to play better to beat a better team in the San Francisco 49ers.
So you know what? I agree with Jeffrey. I think if you just wrote down all the teams in the NFL, I think at least half of the teams at least would say, yeah, I would prefer Dak over the guy that I have. But what I find interesting is that when I talk to people around the league, the narrative is very different. Like, for example, I talked to one personnel exec yesterday, and his quote to me was, he literally texted me like, do you think Dak is good? And I said, yeah. He said, I don't know. He's not bad. I don't know if he's like actually good. He's in this no man's land of quality. And that honestly shocked me because I think Dak is a very good player, but that speaks to how he is viewed. And I settled on the word purgatory. I feel like with the Dak situation, it almost feels like we know he's a good quarterback, but we need to know more than that. The question is, can he be a championship caliber quarterback? And I think
it's a purgatory that a lot of teams would like to be in. And I don't know who the executive you're talking to, but he must be executive on a team with a good quarterback. Because I think most teams in the league don't look at Dak and say, oh, well, I mean, yeah. They look at him and like, man, we can trust him. And we've had this conversation a bunch of times. And of course, he's not Mahomes level. That's a special level. If you can get that, by all means.
Go get it,
but he's at that second tier of quarterback, which I think is good enough to win a Super Bowl.
Can I say, let me say this too. This is a new coordinator with a veteran quarterback. They are 5 games in to this process of learning each other. They don't have an identity on offense right now. Go watch their tape. They don't have one yet. They have to figure this thing out. So to just assign it all to Dak, there's a lot of people in that building that have to do their job. And to go like, well, this guy isn't a good quarterback. That's just an absolute fabrication. Like, anybody saying this dude can't play has lost their freaking mind. I'm just telling you.
The story changed because I remember at the beginning of the season, we were like, this defense is so good.
Yeah.
Dak doesn't have to do much. We ain't see that defense. So, like, we got into a situation where we're like, hey, now Dak do it all. So I agree. Dak needs to be better in that situation, but we also need to hold everybody else to account. Some people out here talking trash across on their podcasts and whatnot. Get a stop, baby. Get a stop and make it easy. Give Dak a short field. Make it easier for him.
We can go short-term or big picture on Cowboys here because there are equally interesting stories both ways. If you're going to look at it big picture, and maybe we can do this a little later, the league is about to come to a moment of reckoning, which is to say quarterbacks, those salaries have escalated so high that you have to decide. We all agree Dak's good. The question is, are you going to pay a good quarterback $55 million? That's the question you have to, right? Well, isn't that the question you have to answer?
Yes, that's the question.
We're all willing to give it to Mahomes and Burrow and Allen. Are you willing to give it to Dak?
Yeah. Like, if I'm Dak's agent, I say, well, look around the NFL. Like, Daniel Jones is making a ton of money. I don't fault him for making that, but my guy is better. Like, I think if the market dictates this is what the going rate for quarterback is,
That's the number
I'm
you
a
get.
good quarterback.
Hey, how many?
That's
Hey,
what
by the way,
I said.
hey, Greeny,
for it. I'm saying, are
how
you
many
smart to give it
championships
to
have those
him?
three guys won again?
Which three guys?
The three guys you just named.
Well,
Burrow.
Mahomes.
No, not Mahomes. Burrow, Allen. Keep naming the good ones that are coming up, right? Herbert, whatever it is.
Burrow's been to the Super Bowl.
He ain't
Allen
win it. He ain't win it. So
He's
we're
been in the
either
league
saying
3 years.
we're either saying we win it or we don't win it, but we
You have
can't
a
have
shot.
a moving
You're paying
target.
these guys because you think you
to
have a
present
shot.
the other side of the argument, it's not about whether you have a good quarterback or not. It's about whether you're going to win a Super Bowl. And I think Greeny and some people might be thinking that you might have a better chance of winning a Super Bowl by getting a cheap quarterback and spreading that money elsewhere. I disagree, but I think it's a legitimate argument. I do think that what you have a better chance, you have to get cheap performance out of some position.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Really hard to get that at the quarterback.
Agreed. Yeah.
So what you need to do is what the Cowboys have done, frankly, is draft well, get smart coordinators, and pay the quarterback what quarterbacks need to get paid. And that's the best way to win a championship.
I just want to go back to what Jeff was asking me because, yes, I get it. Those guys haven't won Super Bowls. But would you in any way question my saying Allen is way better?
No.
Burrow is way better. We're talking about a whole different level
But the market is the market. Listen, Tom
my
Brady
question. How far down that
and
list
Peyton
does
Manning
the
were better than
market go?
Kirk Cousins,
Right.
and he's been paid more than both of those
How'd
guys.
that work out for the teams that paid him?
It's still the market. It's just still the market. Like that's what the number is. So every team has to decide, am I going to pay it? But he is worth paying that. If you look around the league and go, can we justify this money? If you look at the other guys making the money, yeah. Like how much further back are we than those teams? That's what I would say.
They never finish poorly enough to get a high draft pick. They have a very good quarterback versus a team where it's like, oh, should we like midseason sign Kirk Cousins? Should we trade for Russell? Like that is sort of
I feel like that was a direct attack on me.
I wasn't trying to look your way, Greeny, but
We got Aaron Rodgers. He tore his Achilles.
I understand, but again, so much was put on. I'm not trying to compare teams, but so much was put on the shoulders of a 39-year-old quarterback to fix this team. I think you much rather be in Dallas's position. So between the head coach, like offensive identity, CeeDee Lamb after that game was like, I don't know what our identity is.
Watch the tape.
That's a problem. That's a problem.
The route combinations, like all those things have to get worked out as these guys learn to play with each other. I'm just telling you, it doesn't just walk out there.
Over the time Dak's been there, they've been competitive. They've been in the race. They've been legitimate Super Bowl contenders. And I know that's not the same as winning a Super Bowl, but when you're in a single elimination tournament and the league is as talented as it is, almost like that's what you want. You want to be close every year and hope you have a chance. Maybe they need something else to get them. Not maybe. They need something else to get them over the hump. I don't think the answer is going to be finding a new quarterback. That just seems like
That's fair. So the answer to the question then is yes. Do we pay him in that?
Yes.
You think the Giants are feeling good about paying Daniel Jones that money right now? I mean,
Not
that's
in
the
the
point.
same ballpark.
I'm not saying they are, but the money's not going to be the same either.
Right.
If you could get Dak Prescott for $40 million for 2 years, I would do it in the blink of an eye. And I get it. It's just 3 or 4 people talking. They don't speak for an entire fan base, much less an entire region. But I mean, they have turned on Belichick.
Turned.
In a big way.
Bad.
Right?
I mean, it is bad.
It's bad.
Some of the comments, I mean, one dude questioned whether he should have ever coached.
Right.
I mean, it was that, like you talk about full-on panic. This is when fanaticism hits its peak. You're like, he should have never coached.
Right.
But you're looking at a fan base, and you're looking, and honestly, not just a fan base, but you're looking at an organization that's got to look themselves in the face and say, hey, what are we doing here? I mean, Bill Belichick is a fantastic football coach. Give him his flowers for being the greatest to do it in NFL history. But their roster is deficient. And so the GM, Bill Belichick, has really hurt the coach, Bill Belichick, and they can't find their way out of this thing. I think something's going to have to give. But this is this situation, and it's going to continue to go. Like, this is not something that's going to get solved this year. This is ugly, and I just don't see him fixing.
Well, that's the point. So the question is, whenever it goes, wherever it goes, is Bill Belichick still there to lead it?
Yeah, I think so. I guess it could get much worse this year. I don't expect it to get that much worse. I expect them to turn it around and be respectable by the end of the season. If they are, I mean, yeah.
I mean, I get that anything is better than the last 2 weeks, but still.
So that's what I mean. It's like getting blown out by 70 points in the last 2 weeks is one thing. That's going to stop happening. I think they'll win some games. They'll be a mediocre team, and that'll earn Belichick one more year. And then at that point, if they don't do something after that, then I think they probably move on.
So I don't think this is. Well, it's funny because I thought last week was rock bottom in a sense for the Patriots. But here's my question. We talked about Dak the last segment. Good quarterbacks, very good quarterbacks. You don't just give those away. I feel like good head coaches pretty elusive as well. Like, I understand it doesn't look right, but the idea of, like, what do 8 Super Bowls buy you?
9.
Like, what, what?
Yeah. Sorry, but he's actually took him to 9. Yeah.
But that's what I mean. Like, it's just sort of like, I get that Patriots don't know how to live in this world.
You know what gets you?
We are irrelevant.
You know what gets you in the NFL? A plaque. That's what it gets you. Because it ain't getting you. Yeah, it ain't getting you. There's no, like, he's moved on from players, and I'm just telling you, Robert Kraft, mediocre ain't gonna be good enough for Kraft.
No.
I would argue that those Super Bowls is what's gotten him the last several years.
Right.
You know, like the whole post-Brady period.
Right.
Those Super Bowls have earned him that, and I think it'll earn him one more year.
But you just said, Domonique, I expect them to turn it around. What gives you confidence that they will?
It's the track record. Right.
Which is literally what I'm talking about.
I agree with you. I think I think they turn it around. He finished out this year, and if they don't make some advancements next year, then you're talking about something different.
So y'all think that if he's third in the AFC East, because the Jets don't have a quarterback, right? So if they're third in the AFC East,
What did I do?
So
Why is everyone just taking shots at me in other conversations?
So if they're fourth behind the Jets, you're telling me Robert Kraft goes back in there and goes, "Hey man, good job. I love those 9 Super Bowls."
Who does he get to coach this team?
Everyone says that Gerard Mayo is going to be the next head. So let me ask, Carrie, I want to ask you a different question.
Yes, hon.
Because you just said the right thing. What does it get you? It gets you a statue, right? They will put a statue of Bill Belichick outside that stadium, and no one has ever earned one more. But when it is time, when it is over, after 20 years, if only because everything runs its course, if it's over, how do you handle this gracefully? If you're the owner of the New England Patriots and this guy has taken you to 9 Super Bowls and won 6, how do you handle it gracefully?
Right now, I don't know. I think what you would have liked is this transition period of like, okay, we understand Bill is now ready at some point. Bill's not trying to leave on this note. And good luck trying to take GM duties from him and be like, you can only do this, but not that. That is, I think, the problem. I don't know if Bill Belichick and his 8 Super Bowls are going to say like, okay, I trust you know better than me. But again, I just don't. Here's the thing: like with some teams, you wonder, is it the quarterback or is the head coach? Did the head coach forget how to coach, or is the quarterback not good enough? In San Francisco, they took Trey Lance. They said, you know what, we made a mistake. We've got this guy. Is Mac Jones the answer? Time will tell. But if he's not, Belichick gets a different quarterback. Does the team look different?
He took him to the playoffs in year 1. Yeah. Josh McDaniels. Then he got him a special teams coach and a defensive coordinator.
Josh McDaniels going to Vegas was like the worst. Like, that just messed up 2 places.
I'll say this. They play each other this weekend. What if Josh McDaniels and Jimmy G wipe out New England again?
That's going to be bad.
Stranger things have happened. It could be very interesting.